I want to talk about Libya and give you some of the latest statistics and some of the latest, news stories that are coming on. National Journal did the math on the financial costs of our Libyan adventure, keeping in mind it's only a couple of days old. The initial stages of taking out Libya's air defenses could ultimately cost U.S.-led coalition forces between $400 and $800 million. And we heard today on Morning Joe that each missile is between $1 million and $1.5 million. And we've already thrown over 100 ourselves. Out of the 104, I think the United States threw 102 of them up in the air. So we've already spent, give or take, $200 million, and we haven't done much. Maintaining a coastal no-fly zone after the first strikes will cost in the range of $30 to $100 million per week. And it's far less than the 100 to 300 million estimated weekly costs for patrolling the skies above the country. If you've looked at a map, I understand Libya has only about 6.5 million people, but it's 680,000 square miles. Go look at a map. Libya is a really big country. It dwarfs Israel. Go take a look at a map. So needless to say, these military engagements, especially those involving high-tech weapons like these Tomahawk cruise missiles, which cost between $1 million and $1.5 million a pop, they become very expensive very quickly. I heard Donald Trump this morning, and Donald Trump is nothing if not pithy. Am I right? I mean, he's an egotist, he's a narcissist, he's a really rich guy, and he is a boastful, braggy guy. But at least he really says so far, a little bit, he gets right down to it. He talks what we say in Yiddish, he talks tachas. He gets underneath. He talks what's real. And he got on the air this morning, and he said the question that I would like to ask. If the Arab League is all hotsy-totsy about the United States going in against Libya, why aren't they paying for it? Where's their money? Put up the money, show me the money. You want our arms, you want our people, you want our moral support, you want our tactical support, you want our tactical strategic support, you want all of that, fair and good. Show us the money. The United States isn't rich anymore. We like to think, that we still have potential and wonderfulness, and every generation will do better than the generation before. You know what? It's all crap. Go look at the statistics of where this country has gone in the last 20 years. Go look at the standard of living of the average, quote-unquote, middle-class family and how much of their kids' college education they can afford, how much recreational opportunities they can afford, how much they can or can't afford to retire, how much their health care costs are eating into their savings. You look at the real numbers, and you will see an inequity and disparity of this country that's the greatest that it's been in 100 years. So don't tell me how rich we are. We've got President Obama sitting in the White House lying by his own Congressional Budget Office admission, lying about the cost of his budget to the tune of an extra half or $1 trillion a year over the next 10 years. We're talking 12 zeros. So we don't even know what the budgeted expenses are really going to cost, much less the income we're supposed to be receiving and giving back to our federal government. And here we are making decisions that are going to cost our government in the multi-millions. Meanwhile, the Republican-led House of Representatives and the Democrat-led Senate twiddles their thumbs and argues over Planned Parenthood and NPR. It's a joke. And you know what the sad thing is? It's not funny. It's a joke that's not funny. We're twiddling our thumbs, and we're worrying about whether or not to pay for women's health issues and Planned Parenthood in this country. And we're carrying on about NPR. As far as I'm concerned, you want to get rid of NPR? Get rid of NPR. I don't care. I love NPR. I listen to it anyway. Joan Kroc left them over $50 million. She was the widow that had no children, that left half her money to NPR and the other half to the Salvation Army after her husband Ray Kroc died. And there are a lot of people that think that NPR is worthwhile. And you know what? If they need to be a market-based way of making money in journalism for what they offer, I predict that they'll do very well. For example, I have a friend that worked here in our news station who made 4 times the salary for doing the same job at NPR. NPR pays very, very well. And you know what? If they can't have taxpayer subsidies to do the job they're doing, so be it. I don't really care. My point is, what are we spending time talking about? That's what I care about. I care about women's health. I think the initiative to cut the legs off Planned Parenthood is a disgrace and disgusting. Disgrace and disgusting. But I'll tell you, I care a lot about the fact that President Obama, on his own initiative, without having a national discussion, and without telling the American people the end zone goal, went ahead and committed the vast amount of money and resources of this campaign that is so-called backed by the Arab League, except it's not backed by them in money or in manpower or in military. Nothing. Nothing. Just because they signed their name to a resolution, we're supposed to jump and say how high? And look at the hypocrisy. Look what's going on in Syria. Look what's going on with Assad. While his wife gallivants with the Harvard, as a Harvard alum, gallivants with the Harvard Arab Alumni Association and puts out letters about how wonderful she is. Look what's going on in Syria and the trouncing of any human rights advocates over there, and the way that Iran is sending Syria arms to come back around and go against Israel. So look what's going on in Syria. Look what's going on in Bahrain. If we cared a lot, maybe we wouldn't want Saudi Arabia to be supplying Bahrain with the military to quash that quote-unquote popular demonstration revolt. Look what's going on in the Arab world. We've decided to go after Libya. Now, I believe it's about refugees and oil. I think our president isn't straight with us. It isn't about the few civilian population that may get bombed, because look what we're doing with our bombs. We just killed Gaddafi's son today. Okay, look how many innocent stray people we're going to kill. So that's a load of crap. The reason we're in Libya is because 300,000 refugees to date have left Libya and are trying to get into Western Europe, and they don't want any more. They don't want any more Arabs. They don't want any more refugees. They don't want them. Help, help. How can we keep them out? And it's because of oil. Because even the little bit of instability in Libya has led to over $4 a gallon in the United States of America. That's what's going on. Why not be straight with us? But at least tell us the end game. And at least commit the rest of the world's money to this gamesmanship. How dare President Obama commit more money and more resources to a third military front in the Arab world to defend people that, frankly, are not even our friends? How do we know who the rebels are? How do we know what they're going to stand for? How do we know that they're not in favor of keeping women down, down, down and trying to eradicate the state of Israel? Who are our friends? You know, I was listening earlier to NPR and I heard somebody, I can't remember his name, postulating from Beirut how wonderful it was that for the first time in such a long time, the Americans' goals were in sync with the rest of the Arab world, and how this was a day that needed to be remembered, and how what a great moment in history it was. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe we're doing something wrong. Because maybe we shouldn't be in sync with so much of the Arab world's goals. Because a lot of the Arab world's goals are not in sync with modern America and with the way we would want to have our country and our population live our lives. And certainly, they are still committed to the complete eradication of the state of Israel. Last time I checked, Israel was an ally of the United States. So when I hear that under Barack Obama's presidency, it's a wonderful day in history that the Arab League is united with the United States and France and England to go against the Gaddafi, to go against the regime of Gaddafi, I say to myself, what's really going on here? And I know what's going on here. It's oil and it's refugees. Be straight with us. And by the way, bring our men home.